Hello friends and welcome back to this class of Bills of Exchange. After doing the two questions in the previous video, today in this video we are going to cover up two more questions. Alright, so let's start with this. Let's have a look at our question number 3. What it says: Ram sold goods for 4,000 to Ravan on 1st July and on the same day drew a bill on Ravan at 3 months for the amount. So a normal basic information given. Let's read further. Ravan accepted the bill and returned it to Ram, who discounted it on 4th August with his bank at 12% per annum. Now, up to this question, whatever we have done in earlier two questions, we never required to calculate the discount using a certain rate. Now, this is the first question, so here we will have to make a working note and calculate the amount of discount. The acceptance was dishonored on the due date and the bank paid rupees 40 as noting charges. On 10th October, Ravan accepted a new bill for rupees 4080 payable after 2 months. Now, guys, everyone pay attention to this very carefully. This is called hidden information. If we look at the part of the question very carefully, you would realize that the original value of the bill was 4,000, and after that they informed us that there was a noting charge of rupees 40, which means the total amount actually should have been 4,040, but they have given us the total amount as 4,080. The difference between the two is what we call as interest on renewal. So this is the hidden information, that there is interest involved here. Alright, now let's proceed further. On 1st December, Ravan was declared insolvent. Now, again, a first question in which we are going to do insolvency of Droy. He has become insolvent and his estate paid a first and final dividend of 50 paise in a rupee. Guys, 50 paise in a rupee, if you try to understand this in a simple language, what we are talking about is 50% of the total money receivable. And then they are saying pass necessary journal entries. So that's what we do now. And let's proceed further, trying to understand how we are going to solve it. So in the books of Ram, we have made the journal and let's start solving it. Again, reading the question, 4,000 on 1st July. Remember, we are doing it in the books of Ram. Ravan is the drawee. 1st July is the date where Ram is selling goods to Ravan. So in the books of Ram, it will be Ravan who is receiving it. So Ravan's account will have to be debited 4,000 rupees, and it's a sales. So to sales account, the amount will be 4,000. The first entry is done. Then it says on the same day drew a bill on Ravan at 3 months for the amount, and Ravan accepted the bill on the same date. So again the date will be same, 1st of July. But now what is happening is Ram is receiving a bill. So bills receivable account will have to be debited because bill comes in. The amount is obviously got to be 4,000. And we are getting this bill from Ravan. So to Ravan's account, amount is 4,000. This is done. Now let's read the question further. And after this it says, who discounted it on 4th August. Guys, now this is something very important for us to remember. It was discounted on 4th of August. A very smart question. How royally they have confused a student is what we need to understand here. Let's do this here. The date of the bill was 1st July. But the date of discounting given to us is 4th August. If you pay attention to it carefully, and if we ignore 3 days of grace, if we consider 3 days of grace, the bill is discounted after 1 month, and the total period of the bill, which was 3 months, So now it will be only 2 months discount. This is something that we need to understand. The bill was drawn for a total period of 3 months and bill was discounted after 1 month. So the period of discount is only 2 months. Now let's do the calculation. The amount of the bill was 4,000, which we will have to multiply by the rate of interest which is given to us at 12% per annum. So 12%. This will have to be multiplied by period, which is 2, and divided by year 12. So if you do this calculation, alright, what you get is 80 rupees. You will get 80 rupees as the amount of discount. This is our working note, which I want you people to understand very carefully. It's a very smart working note. Okay, let's pass this particular entry now. It's on 4th of July. 4th of August. Bank account will be debited. 4,000 is the amount of the bill. 80 rupees is the discount. So 3920. Then we have discount account, because discount is an expense. Discount account will have to be debited 80 rupees, and the bill is going out. So to bills receivable account, the amount would be 4,000. The entry for discounting the bill is done. Okay. Now let's read the question further. What it says. The acceptance was dishonored on due date and bank paid rupees 40 as noting charges. The acceptance was dishonored on due date. Guys, 1st July, 3 months. So after July, August, September, October. So 4th October becomes the due date. 4th October. On this date, the bill was dishonored. Remember, if a bill is dishonored, compulsorily drawings account will have to be debited. And the amount that we debit is 4040. Sir, why 4040? 4,000 rupees for the value of the bill and 40 rupees discount. Both of them put together, the amount comes to 4040. Okay. And what is happening is bank is the giver. So to bank's account or to bank account 4040. 4th October, the bill was dishonored. We have done this. After this, it says on 10th October, Ravan accepted a new bill for 4080. Guys, this calculation I have already explained you. Let's do that once again. The amount of the bill was 4,000. Noting charges was 40. So if we look at this thing very carefully, the amount comes to 4040, but new bill given to us is 4080, which automatically means that there is an interest of rupees 40. So the next entry on 10th October should be for that interest. Okay. Let's pass the entry for interest now. 10th October, because Ravan is to pay it to us, he becomes our debtor for an additional amount. So Ravan's account will be debited 40, and interest is our income, so we credit it. $40. It's done, and now we are receiving a new bill on this date. So let's pass the entry for the new bill received. 10th October, bills receivable account is to be debited 4080. And who is giving us this bill? Exactly, to Ravan's account 4080. Okay. Up to this point, it's done. However, now there is a twist in the question. It says on 1st December, Ravan was declared insolvent. One very important thing that we need to remember is, as soon as a drawee becomes insolvent, the first thing which is to be done is we need to dishonor the bill. So on 1st of December, this new bill will be dishonored. 1st December, it will be Ravan's account debit 4080 to bills receivable account, and the amount will be 4080. That's the amount of the new bill. Okay, and after this it says his estate paid a first and final dividend of 50 paise in a rupee, which simply means 50%. Now understand, we received 50%, then what about the other 50? That is exactly what we call as bad debts. One thing that we need to remember here is, for a drawer it's a bad debt, but for a drawee the same amount is called deficiency. I repeat, what we call as bad debts for a drawer is called as deficiency for the drawee. So we received 50 paise. Let's pass that entry. The date obviously is going to be the same, bank account debit. We are going to receive 50 paise of the amount due. The amount due was 4080, so 50 paise becomes 2040. Another 50 paise we did not receive, so that becomes our bad debts. Bad debts is a loss, so debit. Bad debts account is to be debited. Again, because it is 50 paise, we are having the same amount. And who gave us this money? Ravan. So to Ravan's account 4080, and that's it. The problem is done. We have learned a lot of new things in this particular question. First and foremost thing that we learned was discounting of the bill, which was done 1 month after drawing the bill. That was first important thing that we learned. Second is first question in which we learned calculation of discount. Third thing that we learned was the hidden interest given to us in the question. And of course, the fourth thing is insolvency of the drawee. So a lot of new things to learn in this question, guys. I hope you have all understood this. Okay. This was a very good question to learn something. However, now time for us to move to the next question. Question number 6, question number 4, which I think is one of the longest and a kind of a question I have taken where we should be able to learn everything. So let's read this question. Journalize the following transactions in the books of Rishi. And if you pay attention here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not a paragraphic question. Alright, it's a statement question, which means in every given question, the position of this person Rishi may change. In one statement, Rishi might be a drawer. In another, he might become a drawee. So each statement is like an individual question for us. So we are not going to pass 6 entries, but rather we are going to solve 6 separate questions. Alright, so first thing, let's get the journal in the books of Rishi ready, because we have to read one statement and solve it. So here this is in the books of Rishi. Let's read this. First one, acceptance to Binal. Guys, something that you need to understand. Acceptance to Binal. That means we had accepted. We means Rishi had accepted it. So for us, if we accept, it's a bills payable. For rupees 5,000 retired before due date and rebate allowed rupees 10. That means we paid Binal in advance before the due date of the bill. So what will be the journal entry? It is as good as bill retired in the books of drawee. Let's do this. It's 1 in fact here. Okay. 1. What's happening? Bills payable comes in. Bills payable account will have to be debited. And The amount of bill is 500. We are paying it, so obviously it will be to bank account. And how much are we paying? Out of 500 we have received rupees 10 as rebate, so what we are paying is only 490. And of course we have an income in the name of rebate to rebate account. The amount of rebate is 10. So our first transaction is done. Reading the language of the question is the key for this question. That is the only reason I have selected this question. Pay attention on the language, guys, okay? Now let's read the second one. Chirag's acceptance. Now this is someone else's acceptance. So for us it's a bills receivable. For 400, what did they say here? Renewed. I have already told you people, whenever we talk about renewal, our minds should immediately say renewal, 3 entries. First dishonor, second interest, third cash and new bill. Okay, so now first thing what we do is we pass the entry for dishonor of Chirag's acceptance, 400 rupees, 2A. Now because there will be 3 entries, I'll give numbers 2A, 2B, 2C like that. Okay, first thing is because it was Chirag's acceptance, so Chirag's account will have to be debited 400 rupees and bills receivable goes out. So to bills receivable account 400. Okay, so our first part is done. Now to B, remember whenever you read renewed, 3 entries, dishonor, interest, cash and new bill. Interest, let's read the information for interest. It says rupees 5 as interest, so we got this information. So again Chirag's account debit, Chirag's account is debited by 5 because that's the interest, 2 interest because that's our income, five, and now the third entry 2C for new bill. Okay, for a further period of 3 months, that's okay. And the amount of new bill will be 405. 400 for the previous bill plus 5 rupees of interest. Okay, and who is giving us this bill? Chirag. And that's it. The 3 entries for transaction number 2 are completed. Okay, as I told you earlier, it looks like 6 statements, but we are going to learn solving 6 separate problems. So transaction 2 is done. Time for us to go to transaction number 3. A bill drawn by Dhaval. Okay, we need to understand this was the bill which was drawn by Dhaval. That means we are drawee. In this case, Rishi is drawee. We are now passing entries in the books of drawee. 800 renewed. Again, what is the word? Renewed. So just as what we did in this case, compulsorily 3 entries. Okay, first entry is for dishonor. First thing, we know 800 rupees is the bill which is renewed. Let's pass the entry for dishonor. It will be 3A. But now you are passing the entry in the books of Rishi as a drawee. So it will be bills payable account debit 800 to Dhaval's account because Dhaval is the drawer. $800. We have done this one job. Okay. Next entry has to be for interest in case of renewal. Let's read this. 3 months by paying rupees 200 in cash and accepting another bill for 609 including interest. Let's understand this. amount of the bill 800, 200 rupees paid in cash, then we are left with 600, but we made the new bill for 609. That naturally means that 9 rupees is our interest. Look at the calculations carefully. This is our bill, this is the cash that we paid, and this is new bill. So obviously the balancing figure becomes our interest. Okay, I hope everyone understood this. So 3B, interest entry. Because for us as a drawee, interest is an expense. Interest account will have to be debited. The amount of interest is 9 rupees. We have already seen that. And who is going to receive it? Dhaval. So to Dhaval's account. And the amount is 9. This part is also done. Now for cash and new bill, 3C, understand this. We are paying him rupees 200 in cash and a new bill of 609. Two parts. Okay. So let's do this. Dhaval is the receiver for this. So Dhaval's account is to be debited. He is getting 809. What are we giving him? First we are giving him money. So to cash or bank account, we are paying him cash or bank 200, and then we are giving him a new bill. And that new bill is for 609 rupees. It's given to us ready-made in the question. Alright, so guys, just have a look at this thing carefully. All the 3 entries of third transaction are posted. If you look at the entries of the second and the third transaction together, these 3 are renewal entries in the books of drawer, and these 3 are the renewal entries in the books of drawee. Okay, so transaction number 3 is done as well. Now time for us to read transaction number 4. It says Eric's acceptance. Whose acceptance? Eric. That means we are the drawer. For rupees 500 endorsed in favor of Faraz. We received a bill from Eric. We gave it to Faraz. Is now dishonored. And Faraz paid noting charges 10. Okay. So let's understand this. We received it from Eric and we endorsed it to Faraz. Eric is the drawee. Faraz is the endorsee. So 4th A. If a bill is endorsed and dishonored, drawee to endorsee. Who is the drawee here? Eric. So Eric's account will have to be debited. And what is the amount? 510. Sir, why 510? Because 500 rupees is the amount of the bill and 10 rupees is our noting charges. Okay. And who was the endorsee? Faraz. Faraz's account is to be credited with 510. This part is done. Let's read further. Paid Faraz by check. Okay, we have paid Faraz by check. So this entry has to be shown. 4th B. Faraz's account is now to be debited because we are paying him as the receiver. 510. And how are we paying him? By check. So directly to bank account 510. Alright. Now let's read further. And accepted another bill. Accepted from Eric another bill for the amount plus interest rupees 15. They have given us interest. We need to give a separate entry for interest. So guys, 4C will be the entry for interest. Eric's account will have to be debited now. Interest amount given to us is 15 and interest is our income. So 2 interest account 15. All right, and then simple, we are receiving a new bill. So 4D, bills receivable account. This account will have to be debited. Now account will be debited by how much? 525. How 525? 500 for the original bill plus 10 rupees noting charge. 510 plus 15 rupees interest. 525. And we are receiving this bill from whom? To Eric's account. To Eric's account, and the amount is obviously 525, which means there are a total of 4 entries that we passed for transaction number 4. First, we had endorsed the bill, it got dishonored. Obviously, we paid off our endorsee. After that, the normal journal entry for interest charged on dishonor, and then the last one is for the new bill received. Okay, I hope you people have all understood this. Time for us to move further. So let's go for entry number 5, the transaction 5. Due to lack of instruction, our acceptance, guys, understand this. Our acceptance means it's a bills payable. We are drawing now in favor of Hemal, returned unpaid by bank for rupees 500. Now our acceptance, that is bill payable, is dishonored. Bills payable comes in, it was in the name of Hemal. So let's do 5A, the first entry, dishonor of a bill as a drawee in the books of drawee. So it is bills payable account debit, and the amount is again coming to 500, and we had actually given this bill to Hemal. So Hemal's account 500. All right, this is done. And then it says Hemal claimed rupees 510 which was paid by check. Now, sir, the value of the bill dishonored was 500, but then Hemal claimed rupees 510. Sir, what is this 10 rupees extra? This 10 rupees is the interest. Of course, as a drawee, that's an expense for us. So 5B entry, we will pass interest account debit 10 rupees, and whom we have to pay this interest? Exactly, to Hemal. Hemal's account 10 rupees. And now what are they saying? Was paid by check. 510 was paid by check. So 5C. Hemal is the receiver now. Hemal's account will have to be debited 510, and we are paying him by check. So to bank account, and we are paying him 510. The job's done. All right. So all the three transactions of all the three journal entries of transaction 5 done. Now let's read this. A bill for 5,000 accepted by Kenny. Now it was accepted by Kenny. So for us it is a bill receivable. Was endorsed against another bill payable. Now this is a very, very smart transaction, guys. Understand. A bill for 5,000 accepted by Kenny. So this actually becomes our bills receivable. And this was endorsed against another bill payable. It's written here, it's a bills payable. So that becomes our bills payable. What we did, we took a bills payable and we gave a bill receivable. Simple. Guys, understand what we did. We endorsed a bill receivable against a bills payable. What is happening? Bills payable comes in, bills receivable goes out. The job's done. So entry number 6, it will be bills payable account debit 5,000 to Bills receivable account 5,000. Guys, if you do not understand this transaction properly, you will never be able to get the correct answer for it. You just need to understand that Kenny's acceptance, that is a bills receivable for us, was endorsed for another bill which was payable. That means bills payable is coming in and a bill receivable is going out. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. That is what we did. Bills payable is debited and bills receivable is credited. Got this? I hope you have understood this, because if you look at the length of question number 5, it's a very long question, guys. Okay, but then yes, there was a lot to learn for us in this question. Hope you have all learned and understood bills of exchange. So this is where we'll stop bills of exchange. In the next video, we'll start with the next chapter. Till then, thank you guys. Bye. Take care.